Hello, everyone. This is Howard Fox, and welcome back for another episode of the Outdoor Adventure Series, the podcast that celebrates individuals and families, businesses, and organizations that seek out and promote the exploration, stewardship, conservation, access, and enjoyment of the outdoors. Barry Shimelfarb is our guest today. Barry is a single dad, cancer thriver, and creator of Carmel Retreats, a boutique destination in Carmel-by-the-Sea for people seeking healing, wellness, joy, and romance. Barry, it's a pleasure to have you on the podcast. Welcome.
Howard, it's so great to be here with you. I've gotten to know you just a little bit and your podcast and some of your own personal interests, so I'm really looking forward to a great discussion with you.
I appreciate that. I often offer to my guests, let's do a discovery call, which you took me up on that offer, and it was great to chat with you. And your story is amazing, and the location where your story is about to take place that we're going to share with our listeners is amazing. And I just think this is what makes podcasting so much fun. I get to meet interesting people doing really cool things. So thank you for being here. I would love if you could, for our listeners, let's start with just a little bit of overview and context to who is Barry Shimelfarb, and then I do have some questions I'm just anxious to ask you, but let's take a moment to give the listeners about a 30,000 foot view.
Sure thing. So, I mean, the role that I am proudest about is that I am a single father of two twin boys who were born in India, and I've been raising them essentially since the day they were born here. And every day is, for any listener who has sons or kids out there, it's a roller coaster ride, but they're just really incredible boys who have now turned 13 years old. And I bought this property when they were babies, and the goal was that it would be the way to fund their college education.
Okay.
And since then, it's taken a turn, and so we'll get to that.
All right. Very good. Now, 13-year-old boys, I have to ask you, I mean, you look very young for your age. You actually have a little more hair than I do, so can't be that bad raising 13-year-old boys.
It's not. I mean, no, every day is just a gift. I think that I feel so blessed that I get to spend my life with them. So yeah, you're right. In many ways, and thank you very much. I sometimes don't feel young. I am getting up there, but having these boys, I think it definitely keeps me young. Let's put it that way.
That's good. That's good. Now, I am curious, and I had shared in the introduction, cancer thriver, and that for me, when I met you actually via Podmatch, which is a source of guests for me on the Outdoor Adventure Series, and I was interested because I'm very much tuned into nature, mental health, physical health, this connection and the healing power of nature. And I would love if you could share a little bit about this journey you've been on, because there's a lot of people going through this a similar journey, and you have taken it and spun it up into a whole new direction. And
Yeah,
if you could share a little bit about that.
sure thing. I mean, unfortunately, we all know somebody or have been personally touched by cancer nowadays. And so in my case, my boys were 6 years old when I had cancer.
Mm.
They just turned 7 when I started going through multiple surgeries and radiation. And my diagnosis was very scary, obviously, a single dad and kids who were young and not knowing what the outcome might be. But I mean, when the oncologist first met me, she basically looked at me, felt the tumors, and walked me to the front of the line of the CT scanner. And she told me
Mm.
right then and there, she said, start putting your friends and family network together.
Oh, wow.
And I said, no, wait a second. Shouldn't we wait till we get the results of the scan? And she says, no, put it together today. And then she went on to tell me that I won't be able to get out of bed for the next 6 to 9 months, that I'll be on feeding tubes. I won't be able to take care of my kids if I live. And so it was very dire. And I think even preceding that, I don't know why, but I have an irrationally positive outlook on life. And even in that moment, I was just like thankful for everything that I had lived already
Mhm.
and had this mindset, well, okay, cancer is maybe 1% of my body, but 99% of my body is healthy right now, regardless of what the scan might say. And so I just approached this new journey with that kind of mindset. And what I found that was very unexpected was that the time that I was spending in Carmel, California, which is a very spiritual place
Mhm.
for hundreds of years prior to the founding of Carmel. It comes from a very spiritual and healing space. I found that by me going to that property was just healing. To be by the ocean, to walk with my feet in the ocean, in the sand was grounding. Just to feel the light on me when I would go there, and then also to plant in the gardens
Mhm.
was part and maybe one of the most important pieces of my healing journey. And so you said earlier that I'm a thriver, not some people refer to them as cancer survivors, some say thrivers. I got on the bandwagon of the thrivers because what I found was that healing is not just about getting well, but it's about really living, and not just living, but thriving, but embracing everything around us is really a miracle. And when you're going through a journey like mine and not knowing what the outcome is going to be, things literally that seem every day to me prior
Mhm.
appear as miracles, everyday miracles, right? Just we were born into this world where we get to see all this natural beauty around us. And one of the important things about Carmel is just how incredibly naturally beautiful it is.
Mhm.
And I'm maybe anticipating some of your questions, so let me know. But I mean, Point Lobos State Park, which is only 5 minutes from this property,
Right.
is, and you kind of have it in the background behind you right now, Howard. So
That was very
it-
strategic on my part.
it's just stunning, right? So you wouldn't see it from Highway 1 as you're passing by, but one day I ventured into it, and the person at the gate, when I asked him what's inside there, it looks like a bunch of trees. He says, "Oh, not much. Maybe just the most incredible coastline that you'll ever see in your life."
Oh, wow.
And he was right. I drove to the gate. You drive about a mile into it towards the coast, and you just see this ragged, coastal, rugged shoreline that is it's breathtaking and stunning. And so we're surrounded by that in the
Mhm.
location of Carmel Retreats. Go.
I find it interesting is the way you are describing Carmel and the ocean, the trees, and we'll get into the community in a minute. It reminds me of what was once perhaps not as much described as going into Sedona in Arizona. As you walk in here, and there's something about this place. There's this energy about it, and Sedona very touristy, and I don't know how touristy, though I can imagine Carmel, how it might be. I mean, you're definitely catering to a certain population of folks. But the fact is, the way you've described it is you've got the ocean, the salt air, you've got the breezes and the trees and everything about the park and walking barefoot in the sand. It's really speaks to this interest that I've been having of this the healing power of just immersing yourself in nature and the healing that is possible because of it. And so I appreciate how you describe that. When and it's also not lost, Barry, back when your kids came into your life and you bought this property, perhaps it was a tactical decision of this is how I'm going to pay for their college, and maybe the rental aspect of it, the retreat aspect was there, but it took on a whole new iteration because of this other journey that you are now on. So that's not
That's
lost.
right. That's right. Yeah, it was a very big pivot. right? It was our family vacation home.
Mhm.
And suddenly it became my healing place. And through that journey, I wanted to share it with
Mhm.
others in a way that could bring healing to them. And so you're right about Carmel. It is a very spiritual place. People have entered the property at our retreats and they've just said it's magical. There's something you feel about stepping onto this property there. We describe them as ancient oaks, but in California, ancient is about 100 years old, right? But there are these twisty, cragged oaks as you step onto the property. There's a towering pine tree in the front yard that goes up probably 75, 80, maybe 100 feet high into the sky. And we're surrounded by these just majestic trees. And you go onto the property, you just hear water fountains and you feel secluded. I planted probably 50, 60, 70 large bushes, shrubs, Japanese maples,
Mhm.
and trees. So you just feel so secluded on the property and very private, but kind of referring to the Sedona aspect of Carmel, right? Sedona has the incredible desert spirituality. Carmel is by the ocean, and then its history. Well, I mean, it's called Carmel because of the Carmelite mission friars who
Okay.
established the area a few hundred years ago, and they can trace their lineage back to Carmel in the Holy Land. And
Oh,
so they came here very intentionally. They named it Carmel after that spot. And the Carmel mission, which is the oldest in the Carmel mission, in the California mission system, it's where Father Junipero Serra is interred, is just down the road from our property. And I'm kind of getting goosebumps right now just thinking about it. But we are on a trail that I believe goes back to the Alonium Rumsum native Indians right out in front of the cottages.
oh,
Or
really? Wow.
yeah.
Interesting. As you're preparing this retreat and when you bought the house, did you have a sense of what was going to be possible with it in terms of the nature aspect? Because the idea of again planting trees, planting shrubs, tending to the garden. Again, it's very spiritual, but it's also very healthy. It's getting your hands, your feet dirty in the
Yeah.
and just doing things with the nature. Did you have a sense of, "This is what I was gonna do when the house was purchased," or did you have a landscape architect there kinda helping you paint a vision of what was possible? Or did this journey change a little bit because of this new journey that you are on?
I love the question because I can say honestly that I had no vision of where I would be today with
Mhm,
hosting people who have come through cancer and serious illness and so forth.
mhm,
No idea, but I will say that when I saw the property, I I visited it before it went on the market. I went to a broker's open house, so basically
mhm,
there are brokers coming through, and I fell in love with it on the spot. And the reason I fell in love with it was because I felt something really magical there.
okay,
And so I must have had some kind of vision because Howard, it had shag rug with, I'll just say it, probably vomit stains in it from parties over the last 100 years. It did not smell good. My neighbor was saying it was a tear down. It had a lazy boy recliner sitting in the living room that the place just did not show well. And the people that I bought it from were in their mid 90s, and they
uh-huh,
were the grandchildren of Eliza, who had built and bought that property a hundred and couple years ago, a hundred
okay,
years ago, maybe
wow,
102 at this point. And so I had to have some vision to kind of see beyond that mess. But what I saw was original pine plank floors, hopefully beneath those shag rugs. I saw wavy pane windows. I saw original thumb latch hardware on the board and batten doors. I mean, for me, I just got excited about it. So I think it's not a total surprise that it's on this trajectory right now
okay,
because I felt something. Maybe it was just a hum, maybe it was a vision, I don't know what. I never brought a landscape architect onto the site, but the gardens have just evolved organically, right?
Okay.
There's just not this beautiful little winding trail through the entryway. I've put little paving stones in the side of the path. I've planted, you can see next to me that there's these beautiful aeonium plants, these succulents in the gardens, ferns, Japanese maples. There's a swing bench under an arbor in fountains. It's just kind of evolved, I'd say. Every time I go there, I think, oh, it would be nice to have a little this plant here. And so I'm constantly digging or planting something or watering something.
Okay. Very nice. So I am curious, when the real agent, the broker, said, drop the keys right in the palm of your hand, and you spent that first night, what did that feel like?
I couldn't believe it. I mean, anybody who's visited Carmel, it's hard not to just fall in love with the place. It's a little bit of a secret. Like not everybody knows about it. I think that Sedona is much more well known.
Mhm.
Carmel is a little bit hidden. It's an enclave. It's a little bit out of the way. But the people who visit it or have heard about it, it's just so stunning in terms of like it feels European or Italian or French Riviera and coastal and small town, all boutique shops. Just it's just so incredible. And so when you actually have a small piece of that beauty, it's a little bit like you need to pinch yourself. And so why have I been given this gift? Well, the gift is that you get to share it. That's the
Right.
beauty of natural beauty. Why it's not, it doesn't belong to us. We don't get to take it with us. It's how can I share this with other people in a meaningful way that's going to bring meaningful change in their lives, either bring them joy or romance or healing. And through that, I can also find joy in my own life and healing.
Sure. Now, I want to chat a little bit about the folks who are coming through the property, but I have one last question about your journey. Is you were given a little bit of a curveball, and with your journey, when did you realize, or was there a moment that you realized, decision aside, you've made the purchase. There was, again, it's a means that for your boys in a number of years away. But when did you realize there's something else here and nurturing about this place, that this was the ticket to my thriving?
So I great question. I can think of a few different moments. I think there's a good aha moment in there, but it, I've never advertised the property. It's
Mhm.
basically been by word of mouth. It's it's very small and boutique and personalized. And because I don't know how to market, I don't know how to get out there. But in being on your show, Howard, it's kind of my first foray into, hey, people, there's this opportunity out here that I'd love to have you come and stay and be on this journey with me. But um, I I I I just remember that people found me. They somehow found me and
Mhm.
people I didn't know. And I had my website, of course, but there's nothing driving traffic to the website. And so people were finding me, and sometimes they would just reach out to me. And then when they'd kind of read into my blog on the website or read about my own cancer journey, they'd say, "Oh, it's just kismet that we found one another, that I'm going through this too." And not only that, I was diagnosed with a fairly rare form of cancer,
Mhm.
and within a few months, 2 other people who had my exact type of cancer had found me, and they stayed with me. One who had lost and had been very disfigured, and she became an inspirational speaker,
Mhm.
and just really felt some kinship with this property. And then there was another one who had been through my similar type of cancer journey, which is if you survive it, I mean, I lost 50 pounds. I could not swallow. It took me years to learn to swallow again, to be able to speak again. I had to go through speech
Oh,
therapy.
wow.
I still have trouble. I do choke a couple times a day to this
Okay.
to today. And so people who've been through that particular type of cancer, it's not it's very difficult. And anybody who's been through cancer, I think it's probably the scariest moment they've experienced in their life. So to have people there and coming through healing and to tell me that they're feeling healed from it is
Mhm.
is like, oh my gosh, it's a blessing that I get to share this with others.
Mhm.
So, for example, there was a guy who came to the property and he had some um, brain cancer and it had spread throughout his body, and his prognosis was very unclear. But he told me that he was on a particular type of medication that that was kind of an experimental medication. The doctors believe it could prolong his life for another 6 months or 9 months and so forth. That he'd need surgery at some point. And we spoke, and I shared some of what I had done to heal myself. And when I spoke to him again in 6 months, he said, I'm in remission. My doctors aren't even recommending surgery for me anymore.
Mm.
And he says, whatever they were seeing before seems to be gone or shrunk. And so I love it because there's certain books that I've read that I share with anybody who's going through this. And I say, read this book or do this healing or eat these foods. This could help you, or this mindset of knowing that our bodies have everything in it already that we need to cure ourselves and we need to get out of its way. So that is eye-opening to me, right? And that we can heal here. And then if you'll allow me, I'll tell you one more situation
Sure.
where I had a young couple who had come to stay for a retreat, personal retreat, and they had just lost their first child during pregnancy. They'd miscarried. And I set them up with one of the local practitioners who took them on a spiritual hike through the redwood forests of Big Sur.
Mhm.
And they texted me the next morning and they said that that was the first full night's sleep where they've slept through the entire night since they lost their child. And that week, those nights that they spent there with the ocean air and experiencing Carmel was healing for them as a young couple. And about 9 months later, they told me they welcomed their first child.
Oh, wow. That's,
So
amazing.
that's amazing, right? You just saying, okay, so can you come here to heal? I believe you can with Carmel as a healing place, but it's also like this life-giving place too.
Mhm.
It's that you can re-find love, you can re-find romance,
Mhm.
and joy and wellness that can bring life.
When visitors are coming to stay, how are you helping them curate the journey that they should be going on?
Yeah,
And because you go to some places or you're going to do this, that, and the other thing. And I love the fact that on your website, and we're going to go there shortly, but this is not like here's the honeymoon package, here's the recovery package, here's the spend time in nature on a full moon package or whatever. But how do you help them curate their journey so that they're gonna leave knowing they got it, that this was the right place at the right time for them?
sure. Well, number one, I've done and still do retreat packages myself. So this, that, and the other thing, I enjoy myself, right? And I think there is a place for them. Carmel Retreats is different though. It's deeply personal. It's tailored to you,
Mhm.
and it's the stay you it's your way,
Mhm.
stay your way retreat. And what I do is I create a setting for them to put together what they feel that they need. So if we think of maybe a list of 8 different ways that we can heal our bodies and experience joy and romance, we don't know what 3 or 4 ways might be best suited to you. You
Mhm.
know that, Howard. You know how you want it. So what I've been fortunate to do is find some really incredible like-minded practitioners based in Carmel within a
Mhm.
few blocks of the cottages who will guide a guest on those spiritual hikes in the rainforest, who can do a cacao ceremony with them, which is just, if you've never experienced one, I won't go into the details here, but it's transformative. Or just doing your own hikes, or you can partner with a local practitioner to do sunrise meditations. Or I have thousands of streaming, self-development, and personal development programs that they can follow. So what I do is if you go to the website, you'll find a guide that will help you plan your own stay
Okay.
and will connect you with those partners so that you can do it the way you want to. And most people stay 1 or 2 weeks. We have some who come every year for 6 weeks. But if you find that you stay for 7 nights, you won't have any problem filling 7 nights. You're going to wonder why you didn't stay longer.
I love it. And so I think it's a great segue. Why don't we go to the website? Because I would love you to share the beauty that's there and describe the room, the cottage, the rooms. There's also a piece here that I'm curious about, the postcards, and I'd love for you to chat about that. But I'm going to share my screen. So in the miracle of modern technology, we should be seeing my screen right now.
That's right. So there's
All right, there it is. And for our listeners, this is a very important event because we were technology. We had to get it working for you. So here we are. So Barry, take us on a tour now.
sure thing. So this is the website for the property. For starters, there are two small cottages. One is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath main house. That's the one that we're looking at right now. We host couples there. Sometimes they have a friend drop by who can stay in the additional bedroom. There's also another little studio cottage on the property that's just an incredible tiny house.
Okay.
But Howard, if you scroll up to right there with that kind of the middle of this page where the gallery is,
Okay.
I can
Let's.
have you kind of scroll. Yeah, so that picture right there, that's the sunroom where you get this incredible morning sun. It's the perfect place for your morning coffee. There's a
I'm
little
all
deck.
about that.
Yeah, there's a little deck that you can kind of see through the windows with an umbrella. There's a beautiful fountain, bougainvilleas growing out. There's some chaise loungers to relax on. But go ahead and scroll to the right. I won't go through I won't talk about every single picture, but you can see this beautiful kitchen that's incredibly well stocked with everything that you can imagine to cook. You can keep going. Our guest book, kitchen, coffee setup. We have 3 different coffee makers for however you like to prepare
Okay.
your
I'm
coffee.
gonna have to teach you on the wonderful aspect of roasting your own coffee, but as opposed to Keurigs, but that's another, or Nespressos. Okay.
I'm all ears, but I think we'll do a separate podcast, right?
There you go.
Okay, so this next picture, go click one more because I think you can see. Okay, so there is a soaking tub
Oh
in the main
wow.
house. It's a cast iron soaking tub, the original one from 100 years ago. I've fixed it up and renovated it, but we provide the guests with bath salts, and so people and guests really can enjoy this soaking tub. It's an incredible experience. You can light
Nice.
candles and listen to music. The upstairs, the bathrooms have been completely renovated, so even though it's 100 years old, it's been upgraded with all modern
Mm.
amenities. Very large walk-in shower,
That's what I want in my life is a huge walk-in shower.
huge
I love
walk-in
those.
shower. Yeah, and stepping into the bedroom, let's hang out there for a minute because there is an Eastern king size bedroom in every bedroom because I'm one of these people, might be a single dad, but I like to spread out. I'm a big sleeper. Like, so I've always been a believer in king size bed. It's the largest bed that you can buy. And I've outfitted it with these vintage, I'll say looking restoration hardware, lights and fixtures and hanging lamps. But people tell us they ask me after they stay there, they want, okay, Barry, where did you get these sheets? What is this mattress? What is the model number? They tell me it's the best sleep of their lives. And I share that information with them. But what I really say is just crack the windows open and the fresh ocean air, you're guaranteed the best sleep.
I something I That has got to be the most phenomenal sensing feeling is just with that ocean breeze and the salt air, and it's just it's
It's
just I'm shivering right now just thinking about that. I love it.
You smell it. I mean, you smell the scent of the ocean in a good way. We're just up the hill from the ocean. And if you have the window open, I mean, it's perfect sleeping weather at nighttime. Every evening, let's say if it's warm during the daytime, it's
Right.
still gonna be 60 degrees or 55 degrees in the evening. Just incredible. You can keep scrolling up a dresser. Oh, maybe there is going to be a picture of the outside. So there's this beautiful little Dutch door on the back where you can go out to the deck. Yeah, this Dutch door, so you can. We really
Oh, yeah.
don't have many flies or mosquitoes in Carmel because of the ocean breeze. So you can just keep this Dutch door open and you just have this kind of open passageway out to the back deck. And the view from the back deck, unfortunately, I don't have a picture of it here, but you're just looking down kind of into a small valley with these majestic towering pines. And I've planted cypress trees in the backyard. So it's really just, you feel almost like you're up in a tree house in a little way, but you can click onward. Always think wine is a good thing.
Of
And
course. A little
we have
barbecue in
Weber
action.
barbecue if you want to
Okay.
fire up your own barbecue, and then fountains in the garden in the entryway. And it's a very zen-like setting. Yeah, so I think now we're just in the laundry room, which might not be the most exciting thing,
Not
but
the most oh, look at
yeah.
that.
Yeah, but I mean the living room, okay, so there it is. The living room, just you can cozy up by the fire and just play backgammon or drink your gin cocktails in the evenings, and there is a large flat screen TV where you can just enjoy whatever programming you want. I've
Mhm.
actually put together, I call it a film festival for my
Okay.
guests, where I have purchased um, 10 films that have been set in and around Carmel over the
Okay.
ages, going back through Hollywood history.
Oh, very cool.
The guests actually gave me this idea that they said, "Hey, isn't this where X, Y, and like From Here to Eternity was set?" I was like, "Let me check that out." Yeah. So there's Burt Lancaster on the beach having this famous makeout scene, which was so risque at the time. And so I have that film, and one of the guests told me that he came to Carmel and my property for his anniversary, and he took his bride, his wife of, I don't know, 20 years to that spot and reenacted that Burnt Lancaster scene on the beach with her. And it was like, wow.
Good for
So
them. I love it.
that's our film festival.
Okay. So we
Uh,
have the guest house as well.
yeah, I think, let's see, we can scroll through that one quickly too. I'll just show one or two pictures of that guest house, and then we can go back up to the top nap. But again, the
Okay.
king bed, and the space has, again, even though it's a small tiny house, it has a full kitchen with a full size oven, range, refrigerator, sink, microwave, everything that you would need and want. And it had this tiny little shower in it that I expanded into, again, a big, nice
I
four
love
by
it.
4 foot walk-in shower. We provide our guests with bathrobes.
I see that's nice. That's a nice touch. Is like I have a monogrammed Carmel Retreats bathrobe. Just by the way, take it with you.
Yeah, yeah. People have asked me, and so they can do that.
I love it. Oh, this
And
is
laundry room.
I mean, it's funny, the roommate and her boyfriend, they're selling the house where I live, and they're looking to establish like a tiny home community. And we were talking about sizes of the units, and I think a well-designed, I could be very happy in a 400 square foot, well, maybe not that small, but because I have my podcast studio, my coaching, and then I have my bedroom. As long as I have a kitchen, that I can cook in. So this guest house looks perfect. What else should we? Let's talk a little bit about the retreats and the some of the vendors
Yeah.
that you've partnered with.
Well, let's. You can kind of see the navigation at the top. Before clicking into any one of them,
Okay.
I'll kind of go from the left to the right just to say it. But so we have the cottages that we just kind of saw on the left. We have our reviews there. The next nav over to the right would be the private retreats. That's where we have our downloadable guide in PDF form that you can use to plan your own retreat and kind of
Okay.
understand what some of the elements of a private retreat might be. Scroll back up for a second. The next one over postcards. You were referring to this before.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so I I have a number of different surprises for guests when they come to stay with me. Now, this will kind of
Okay.
get the surprise away, but in this day of Instagram and instantaneous communications and expectations of immediate response, I found that by putting together an actual postcard pack of photos that I'd shot and created from around Carmel, I give my guests this little postcard pack. I provide them with stamps and a pen
Oh,
and say, and of course it has my logo on there for promotion,
sure.
but um my guests love that because we're no longer in an age where we send postcards, and to kind of harken back to a time where we send postcards is really special. So after my journey with cancer, I kind of built on that. And I've
Mhm.
created this program that we're looking at right now called Postcards of Healing. It's actually, well, maybe you're launching it right now, Howard, because nobody knows about it except for you and me.
All right.
And right now, your guests will. But this is my way of giving back because I feel like I've been given so much as a gift. It's my way of giving back because when guests book, there are these gaps in our calendar. And in
Mhm.
those gaps between bookings, I had given away those stays to artists and writers and historians and so forth. But I decided I now want to give those gaps to people who are coming through healing
Sure.
or in need of rest. So we're launching this program where is if you send me a postcard, a physical postcard, nominating somebody who's coming through an illness or a stressful journey or a loss, we will pick somebody at random for each of those gaps and have them come for a completely free stay at the property. So I
Very
want to
nice.
get this word out there. I want as many people to know about this as possible because we all know somebody, unfortunately, who's coming through this. So
Very
basically on
good.
that page, you sign up and you get the information of where to send the postcard. Um,
Excellent. No,
yeah,
it's a wonderful, just a person. It's an experience that you're making available, and it's. I mean, and there's always going to be a gap here, a gap there, and it's
right.
now
Yeah.
it has much more meaning to it. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So
then
it's
we've got
called
the
Postcards for Healing.
okay.
That's the name of the program. And the program is now live. It's officially live, Howard,
It's
right
officially
now.
live. I love it.
Yeah.
Happy to provide that
Yeah.
service right now. So let's
Appreciate it.
talk a little bit. So if we keep going off to the right, this is the Explore.
So this is all about Carmel. You'll find links to everything to do around Carmel, some of my favorite restaurants. And
Mhm.
I have a lot of secrets from having lived there for 12 years, but there's probably 40 little beautiful courtyards around Carmel to discover. And you're probably going to maybe discover 7 or 8 of them while you're there. And I have
Nice.
my favorite ones with little chocolate and wine tasting rooms off of it. And they're just the perfect place to sit by a fountain in a little teak bench and nibble on a truffle with a glass of port wine, something like that, in the evening during sunset. I mean, just it's just beautiful to
I
spend the
I can just imagine the visitor coming to Carmel. They've heard about it and they've made their way to the town, to your retreat. And I can imagine it also has to be very hard to leave. It's like, and as you said, they come back
yeah.
year after year.
I encourage people to take a small piece of caramel home with them.
Mhm.
So those anemone, sorry, those succulents that you can see growing in my garden, I say snip one off because they live or can live forever,
Okay.
right? They're first of all hard to kill, and I believe it or not don't have the greenest thumb. But I encourage my guests take one of those home, plant it in whatever kind of soil you have, take it home, and it'll live forever if you just give it a little bit of water. Doesn't even
I
need that
love
much
it.
sun.
I love it.
So
You have a
if you
blog
go,
here as well.
yeah, but just backtrack to the Explorer for just 1 second, if I
Okay.
can. Scroll down to the best Carmel hiking trails.
Ah,
So
yes.
in there, I have some of my favorites, but there's right up at the top is Macway Falls in Big Sur. But the coastline is incredible. Point Lobos is unbelievable. The redwood forests of Big Sur, people know about these, but also unknown are certain state parks like Pinnacle Peak. And what's unknown about there's Pinnacle, is that Pinnacles National Park right there, is that they've reintroduced the California condors into Pinnacles Peak Park.
Okay.
And those are the largest, perhaps the largest birds in the world, wingspan of 8 to 10 feet. Maybe the albatross is larger, we don't know. But you probably will see condors circling in the sky above you. They've had very successful reintroduction. And who gets to go on a hike? I mean, that's just not known. People don't know that about the Carmel area, that you're going to go to these parks and see things. You go home and you tell your friends, wow, I saw California condors that were essentially extinct a number of years ago, just
Oh,
circling
this
in the
is,
skies and bald
I
eagles.
mean, some of these little moderate to easy loop trails, I'm all about that. I mean, this to catch this view is like, oh my
Yeah.
God.
So Garrapatta, if you go up a pretty easy hike to the top of one of the bluffs, you have a 360-degree view of the coast of California on one side and then the redwood forest on the other side. It's that Robinson Jefford calls it the majestic meeting of granite and ocean. It's
Well,
incredible. If you don't want to climb, we have what's called Mission Trails Park, just a couple blocks from the cottages,
yeah.
or you just go in this kind of 40-minute loop, and it's just really beautiful as well too if you don't want climbing.
Wow. I have a it's my own personal inside joke. And when I interview destinations, so if there was a visit or discover Carmel or the Chamber of Commerce, I'm always joking with them. I'm always looking for my next place to live. And I have to say, Barry, that's going through my head right now. Okay. Just saying.
I
Uh
will say some of the partners, the local businesses that I've partnered with, they have been founded by people who just visited Carmel one day,
yeah.
fell in love with it, and never left. They Mad Dogs. I mean, you were asking earlier about some of my partnership with the local businesses. Mad Dogs bikes. They do e-bikes, they
Hmm.
do vintage e-bikes, and they just fell in love with Carmel. They were a young couple and they set up their business a block or two from the cottages. And we send our guests there to go on their e-bikes and just cruise along the coastline.
This
Um,
is amazing. And
yeah,
it would be very interesting to chat with a lot of these vendors, businesses that you have partnered with, and the ones that have done just what you just shared. They came here, they experienced it, they said, "We love it here. Let's see if we can establish a business," because those are great stories as well. And especially how with your visitors, their experience, helping them curate their experience, and there's definitely some great connections here. Restaurants, there's probably a really good cup of coffee somewhere in Carmel, I would imagine.
more than one.
Okay.
Three or more, four maybe really incredible cafes within 2 or 3 blocks. Would you mind if I did a shout out to a couple of these local partnerships?
Please do.
I would say, I mean, number one, Salty Soul Yoga Studio down
Okay.
the end of our street is pretty incredible. And we
Do
send
we
our
have a
guests.
link here for them
There's
somewhere?
not one right there, and I'll send you the links for
Okay.
show notes
Oh,
for
yeah.
all. That's one. There's another one called Earth Cura Apothecary, who just opened. I think on her Instagram profile, you'll see a picture of her next to Brad Pitt because he wandered in one day and he liked what she was doing. But she will curate and create any kind of blended herbal tea that you want. So it's just an incredible, nurturing environment when you walk into her shop. There's Mad Dog Bikes that I mentioned. Monterey touring vehicles. If you like vintage cars, I
Yeah.
recommend renting one of their vintage roadsters and just bombing down Highway 1.
Okay.
The whale watching tours. We also have um, earthbound farms, organic farms, where you can sit on an Adirondack chair and by the sunset, by a bonfire. And during the daytime, you can pick your own tulips in the spring there. So that's
I
pretty
love it. I love it.
incredible too. So there's more than I can mention. There's Aubergine in terms of
Okay.
the restaurants that I love. Aubergine, Justin Cogley, the chef there,
Hmm.
won his second Michelin star a couple of months ago, which is the top rated restaurant in the entire Monterey area and well deserved, but few people know about him. So he serves an incredible tasting menu called aubergine. So I could go on, but
Very
let's
good. Yeah,
post
well,
contact
definitely,
info.
let's highlight them for on our show notes. We'll provide
Yeah.
backlinks to their website, and, let's, be it's a pleasure to give them the shout out that they deserve, and again, I'm, like, thinking, "Okay, this looks like a path, by the way."
That's Lover's Point. So that is near, I'd say you'd have to drive to that, but I'm in 5-10 minute drive.
Okay,
And it's a pathway to Lover's Point. It's springtime when the ice plants that kind of creep over the ocean side are in full bloom, and it's just really incredible.
okay, very good.
But there's
Barry, this was great, and I know we've got one last page. Let's see, we've got some blogs. These are your musings, I would imagine?
these are my musings,
Okay,
favorite
uh,
places to hike, my
okay.
journey of the
I
California.
know a friend back in Chicago that she's part of the society for these labyrinths, and
Mhm.
she would love that. There's
Yeah.
the condors, the personal retreats. No, this is wonderful. I
Or
like the old time typewriter. That's what it's called. I forgot what it was called. It's been
they're,
so long since I've used one.
yeah, they're all
This
kind
is
of period
wonderful.
pieces, and I just love mechanical objects. So I think I have one on the contact page too of an old phone.
Excellent. I'm going to come back to the our page, and thank you for taking us on a tour. I mean, it's wonderful photos. So, kudos to you or to your photographer and or. So, I mean, definitely gives us a great view of what the experience is going to be like once the visitor comes and experiences the retreat. Now, I do have a question. As you look back now on this journey that you have been on, and I know you shared a little bit about the young couple and having lost their first child and the good news, but what has as you look back on your journey, what has been maybe another aha moment that you've had? Because you're making it, and I would say you're making a
Yeah.
difference in people's lives through embracing Carmel, embracing your home, and making it available. But what is your aha moment?
I appreciate you saying that, Howard. I don't, maybe I am impacting people or making a difference, and I never think of it that way. And I always appreciate to hear that. I just feel like I just want to share as much as I possibly can. But aha moments and insights is that we all have this quiet space within us. And me coming out of Silicon Valley, I was addicted to the culture of high tech because it gave me so much joy and fulfillment and so forth until I had my kids. Then it was replaced by my kids, and then later my healing journey. But we don't take time for that healing moment, that healing space inside of us. Many people say if they sit quietly and meditate, it's the most boring thing they've ever done, right? And they don't hear that quiet, they don't hear that voice. And so I'd say sit quietly until you do,
Mhm,
because again, we have inside of us the ability to heal ourselves, make ourselves whole, and find what it means to make our greatest impact in the world. It comes to that quiet moment, that moment of somehow connection with something, um, what are the knowledge of the universe, some might say, or light, or however we want to experience it. It's that connection of something greater than us is where all inspiration comes from.
mhm.
It's the source of all great discovery, all scientific breakthroughs. Everything that Bach or Beethoven ever wrote came through that connection. We all have it inside of ourselves, and we don't always realize it. It took me, even though I'd experienced it sometimes before, it took kind of my journey to really realize to connect with that as much as possible.
Excellent. Well, I love that. Barry, before we head out, and we're gonna have a lot of the links to a lot of the businesses that are in the community, and they're there. You enjoy them. They're helping to support the experiences at Carmel Retreats. Besides the website, carmelretreats.com, is there any place else you would like to send our listeners to?
Gosh, you stumped me a little bit. I mean, there's so many different places to visit within Carmel. I think what I'll do is, again, I'll include, or I'll pass along to you those links
Okay.
to some of my favorite local businesses and partnerships in
Sounds
the
good. Sounds
but
good. Well, we'll provide also the backlinks to Facebook and Instagram because I know we've got those as well. And Barry, it has been a pleasure to have you on the podcast, and I'm just excited. And I mean, this is true connection back to nature and the importance of, again, putting your hands in the dirt and feet in the dirt and the sand and the water and taking in that wonderful ocean breeze and the salt air. And it's just, I can only imagine how wonderful it is when you get to actually enjoy it with your son. So that's fantastic. So thank you again for spending time with us today.
Well, I'm so grateful for your time, Howard. I'm grateful for your guests who have put time into listening to this. For me, I felt a connection with you, Howard, just because like when a discussion to me feels like 5 minutes and just time has been compressed, that's a connection. So
Excellent.
you're welcome. I hope I meet you in person. I hope it's in Carmel, but any place would be wonderful.
I would love for it to be in Carmel, let me tell you that. But no, thank you so much. Listen, stay in the line. We're going to do a very quick close and you and I
Yeah.
can have a final chat. Okay.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. All right, folks. I really, really hope you enjoyed today's episode because what a wonderful individual, Barry Shimelfarb. Again, single dad, two twin boys, and he's got his hands full, but he's cancer's thriver and the creator of this wonderful experience in Carmel-by-the-Sea at Carmel Retreats. So his story is just, it's inspiring because many of us, as Barry had said, are going on our own journeys, whether it's cancer, whether it's loss, or whether it's just we work hard every day and sometimes we just need to take a step back and recenter ourselves. And what a wonderful place to do it at Carmel Retreats. Now we're going to provide all the backlinks in our show notes, carmelretreats.com, as well as the Facebook and Instagram. And we'll also have a list of the local businesses that have partnered with Barry to create this wonderful experience. And we'll provide links to some of the experiences like the state parks and the local parks and trails and like we do on all of our episodes. Now, speaking of the episode, it'll be up on our website, outdooradventureseries.com. We'll have it on our LinkedIn and Facebook pages on the Outdoor Adventure Series. And the whole episode, including the video of Barry taking us on a tour of the website, will be up on our YouTube channel. And of course, you can listen to this podcast wherever you get your podcast from. Just imagine walking through Carmel. Perhaps you've spent a night or two at the retreat. You're in a state park. And by the way, you can even listen to this podcast episode. How cool would that be? Now, if you enjoyed this podcast, please let us know through your likes, comments, and sharing. And until next time, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, go out there, have a fantastic day. And we look forward to having you join us on a future episode of the Outdoor Adventure Series podcast. Take care now.